Caleb Sweethand's Plant, IBF super middleweight champion of the world. And if you're looking to take your training to the next level or even be a world champion like myself, I suggest Victor Kathi's Fighters Training Sack. It's got everything you need.
Hey everybody, Marcos Villegas here in Los Angeles, being joined with the promoter of Sergey Kovalev, Kathi Duva, who's fighting Canelo Alvarez. Kathi, we've heard that this fight was on, and then it was off, and then it was on and off and on and off. What was causing the on and off, on and off?
I can't speak to where all of it came from. At first, we were not offered enough money, and we had to stand our ground. We finally got enough money, and by then Sergey was already into a mandatory fight, and we were just too far into it to pull back. We tried. It was way too complicated. Then we figured, well, okay, he won the fight. Now this should be easy, and we didn't have that much trouble with Golden Boy once they came to our number, but then we had to deal with Top Rank to get him out of the deal he was in. So it just it was complicated. It was a very complicated deal, but I felt like I was living on a roller coaster since, the spring.
So it's Bob's fault?
I'm not saying that.
You made it hard?
The circumstances created an opportunity. And Bob never misses an opportunity. So.
Well, we're here now. We have a date. How surprised are you that they're choosing Sergey?
I'm not. I told Sergey when he first won his world title, someday guys like Golovkin and Canelo are coming up to fight you at 175.
Wait, how long ago was this?
I don't know. He says it was 2012. I thought it was 2013. I think it was around the time that he won his first world title.
So you foresaw this then, even back then?
Because he was saying, I want to be in big mega fights. How can I ever be in one, at this division? And I said, no, these guys are going to come up and fight you. Because having been in this business for 42 years, I have a pretty good idea of how things go. Guys who are, especially stocky guys like Canelo, just can't stay at that weight they were fighting at when they were in their early 20s throughout their whole career. It can't be done. So he's reached that point where he's tired of going through what he has to go through to get all the way down to 160 and then fight a mediocre guy or a guy who's just not a challenge. And when you are that guy with that mindset, and he clearly is that guy, a great fighter, you want a challenge. You want something to make you get up in the morning and run. And it was obvious to me that this was the only place that Canelo had to go at some point. And obvious. I thought it was a great possibility. So when they called and suggested it, it was more, yes, okay, I've been waiting for your call.
So when you told Sergey, how did he react? Because I know from what I've heard, he was kind of in disbelief, like he didn't believe that Canelo was serious about this.
Agus told Sergey, I didn't, so I wasn't there, but I have heard him tell the story, like he thought it was a joke,
Congratulations.
Why do you think they chose him? A lot of people are saying Canelo picked him because he sees him as the most vulnerable of the 175ers because of the body. He gets hurt a lot. What do you make of that?
Hey, look, I hope he thinks that. He's not just, he's the man in the division. He has been the man in the division for coming up on 7 years now. Why would you go fight somebody who is barely known? Because that's the other guys in the division. So I am not going to be so cynical about it. If I'm Canelo and I want a legacy and I want to do something great, I want a great name on my resume. I don't want someone that nobody is sure how good they are, because you can tell me, and I read all these stories about how great all the other light heavyweights are, and they're all terrific. But none of them has had a career-defining fight. None of them has had that fight where you say, oh, this is truly a guy who stepped up to the elite level. I might give it to Bostic for Stevenson, but Stevenson was injured badly, and how old was he? I'm sorry. If you want to make a statement, Sergey's the guy to make it with, and I think that's what Canelo is.
Speaking of Stevenson, hope it's recovering well, and prayers still go out to his friends and his family as well. On a final note, Kathi, just Sergey just too big, you feel, for Canelo? Jab too good? Is this a big miscalculation on their end, thinking that there's not much left of Sergey because of what happened in the Yard fight and the Ward fight?
If they took this fight because they think he's finished, then they've made a big miscalculation. If they took it because they want to test their skills against the very best, then we're going to have a great fight. And I think that, and I'll say this later today, history rewards risk. History will look fondly on this no matter what happens, no matter how it ends. Canelo and Sergey Kovalev will be remembered for having engaged in a great fight. And that's really what this should be about.
it's an interesting fight. It gets me thinking. There's not a lot of fights that I sit back and be like, what's going to happen here?
You can't say exactly who's going to win. Nobody can say that. You can believe. You can say, oh, I believe my guy's going to win. But it's not like a guy. I mean, they're calling it what? They're calling Canelo like what? 5-1 favorite, 6-1. This is not a 5-1, 6-1 fight. And when you see odds that are off like that, that's when upsets happen. So I'm very happy with the odds.
To bet money?
No, that's against the rules of my company. But we did that once a long, long time ago.
I'm like, didn't you tell me a story that you put a bet on Evander?
Oh no!
Buy you a pool?
He left main events. Oh no, that was the only reason it was allowed. No, he left main events to go do that fight with Don King. He ended his contract, so we were allowed to bet. But
he still came up though. He still wants some money. Hey, Kathi, it's good seeing you. Thank you so much. As always, thank you so much. Kathi Duva here, the promoter of Sergey Kovalev, who's fighting Canelo Alvarez November 2nd at the MGM Grand.